You know what takes a lot of time? Learning a new language? No, not at all. How about this? Learning a new language and then forgetting pretty much everything you've learned and having to spend months or years reviewing flashcards and trying to retain all the stuff that you've already understood 10 times. That's what takes time. At the end of the day, the challenge is a memory challenge. So I'll share with you a couple of tips that I wish I knew from the get-go. So let's get started. Let's start with this one. You do not have a bad memory. Maybe, like me, you think of yourself as having a terrible memory, like a goldfish, but in fact, it is more like an elephant, or like an ex-girlfriend. Very good, and also very selective. I think I'll try to explain why you and I have trouble remembering stuff now, and after that I'll give a couple of tips on how you can change that pretty much immediately. And no, we're not building a memory palace or anything like that today. We ain't got time for that today. So let me try to demonstrate that you do in fact have a very decent memory. Suppose I was to show you this little cell phone of mine and tell you that it is in fact called a keitai in Japanese. You'd probably forget that in a matter of minutes. Jesus have mercy, terrible memory like a goddamn goldfish. But now suppose instead I told you that in fact your dad is a closeted gay man.
I'm gay.
Your mom is cheating on him with your friend Johnny.
Just a little bit of fun.
And your sister has a serious crush on you.
What the fuck?
Now that's a lot of information to take in, but believe me, you will remember that in a split second. You're not forgetting that. You will remember all that information like your goddamn life depended on it. Or if I told you that your teacher is in fact a child lover or a murderer. You're not going to forget that because that kind of stuff feels very important. You and I might think that knowing how to say flying spin wheel kick in Japanese is super cool, but your brain doesn't. Your brain does not think it's important.
It's not important. It's important to me, Frank.
And one more final point on why we can't remember stuff. When I show you this thing and say, hey, this is called keitai, your brain is going to go, well, the last 5 billion times I interacted with this little machine, it most definitely was not called keitai something, it was called a phone. So the likelihood of this being something I misheard or that the person I'm talking to is confused is very, very high, and for that reason, we're not going to remember it. Let's just throw this out as a misheard weird sound. And then you write it into your flashcards and you bring it up again and say, hey brain, remember this? What's it called? And the brain goes, it's a phone, you idiot. And you go, no, it's a keitai. And you got this fight going on between you and your brain. It's terrible, and it's going to take ages that way before you get to watch an episode of Naruto without subtitles. So I believe those are some of the reasons why it is so difficult to retain the new language information. Now let's make it better. Let's hack this thing and let's make it better. Here are the tips. So tip number 1 is to create